Well, so yeah, this is a Trident Blade 3D. It is a also pretty terrible graphics card, but hey, block game time. It's hard to get some leverage when I'm holding it with one hand. Okay, I think that's in there. Okay, VGA has been connected. Make sure that's snug in the slot. Okay, that's good. And hey, look, I got an Ethernet cable. Yay! Alright, anyway, time to power on. Oh wait, switch. And there it is. There we go. And let's start with the actual meat of this video. Okay, take two, since apparently my capture PC has decided that today is a good day to BSOD again. I was really hoping that I could pull off that neat transition from like the phone recording over to screen recording. Okay, just gotta get this to be not blurry. There we go. And yeah, this computer that I'm using as my test system right now has a built-in secondary IDE controller made by Promise. Though I don't have anything connected to it right now, so it's not like I'm not really getting any use out of it. But yeah, there's Windows 98. And I don't have anything besides Minecraft installed right now, so that's all we're gonna do. And the resolution is weird again. Let's hope that this does not trigger a BSOD this time. Okay, it did not. Okay, we are good. Yay! Alright, so I have... Whoops. What did I do here? No, I do not want this toolbar here. Okay, so, as I was saying, I have a number of working versions of Minecraft in this folder here. Working as in they're able to launch at all. Not necessarily working well, per se. And in here is just my .minecraft folder, which I'll have to manually replace the minecraft.jar file by hand as time goes on. So, without further ado, let's just pull up some OpenGL information. We've got our Trident Blade 3D as mentioned before. It only has hardware support for OpenGL 1.1, and it has a tiny bit of support for OpenGL 1.2, which is enough to get some later versions of Minecraft running. You saw beta 1.7.3 in here earlier. There we go, right there. But, well, it is not a good implementation at all. And in fact, if I run WGL years right here, using our native OpenGL implementation, come on, drag the window, there we go. So, give it a moment as the FPS stabilizes. So yeah, at this current resolution, which if I remember correctly, we are currently at 1024 by 768, we get about 350 FPS using the native OpenGL implementation. So, yeah, 1024 by 768. But if I use AltOGL, which is DirectX wrapped OpenGL, give it a moment. And if the gears look like they're doing something funky, that's just something going on. Oh, actually, well, at this higher resolution, it's apparently slower. But if I go down to 640 by 480, actually, I'm not going to do that. Resolution changing is what causes the BSODs. Blue screens, so yeah, just take my word that at 640 by 480, the wrapped OpenGL runs faster. And finally, in here, I also have a fully software implementation of OpenGL, thanks to the Mesa 9X project. And it is not fast, because this is a AMD Athlon XP. It's not going to be able to do all that much as far as software OpenGL goes, because this implements OpenGL, I think 3.0? Yeah, 3.0 using soft pipe, because LLVM pipe requires higher levels of SSE that this thing does not support. Anyway, without further ado, let's finally get into stuff. I did not mean to double click on that. So we'll delete the minecraft.jar file. Hey, delete the minecraft.jar file. There we go. And we'll paste in our very first version, which is classic 0.31. Stop it, Windows. Okay, so that's there. We'll close that. We'll minimize it. We'll open up our minecraft.exe launcher. And then we'll wait. There we go. And we'll start the game. So, it's pretty decently quick at generating the world, unlike the S3 Verge, which can sometimes take minutes. But once you're actually in-game, it's very, very clearly broken. Not only is the FPS absolute garbage, but something with the rendering engine does not like the native OpenGL implementation of the Blade 3D. There's graphical artifacting all over the place, and it seems like it might be trying to read the textures for either the leaves or the clouds, and using that instead of, I guess, fog textures, maybe? Because in the rare occasion where it isn't like trashing the screen, there is some semblance of fog, which is more than what the S3 Verge supports, but with the Verge, at the very least, even with its own issues with transparent textures and lack of fog entirely, it was at least not, unplayable to the extent of not even being able to see what you're doing. But if I now go into AutoGL, copy this over to desktop, and what this is doing is effectively forcing Minecraft to play using DirectX 6 instead of OpenGL 1.1. This will now use the DirectX code path, well, Direct3D code path, for the Trident Blade 3D's rendering engine internally, rather than whatever garbage tier OpenGL implementation they have going. So it does take a small amount of time still to load, so there's not really all that much of a negligible impact. And in fact, performance is immediately much, much better. So I will note that just like the S3 Verge, yeah, there we go. Just like with the S3 Verge, AltOGL is not very stable of a wrapper and is very prone to crashing. So, with that out of the way, we'll just delete that real quick, and then we'll go back into our working versions and move one step up. So this is another version of Indev / Classic, because during this period of time there was not too big of a difference between one or the other, aside from one of them being in survival and, the other being creative. So, Minecraft.jar again. Back to the launcher. And I think you can probably tell that I'm just trying to get this done and over with, because this card is funky. And I have two other cards that I want to show off, or at least experiment with at this point. But I'll probably have, I don't know, a write-up somewhere, maybe posted to one of my Tumblr blogs, just going over the various weirdnesses that the Blade 3D shows. Okay, so just let that go. Oh yeah, and also there's a number of times where Minecraft kind of, I guess, changes its rendering engine just in the slightest of ways, but still in ways that completely break the game. So this still uses that classic slash Indev rendering engine that gets trashed by the Blade 3D and its, graphics hardware. Like, even look at that shovel. There is no perspective correction happening there right now from the looks of it. Like, have you ever seen a shovel that bent in Minecraft before? This is completely vanilla Minecraft. And as for our inventory, this is Indev, so we've got our funky, not blocky, well, less blocky character models. I don't remember off the top of my head what they're called, but yeah, you already know what it's going to be like with AutoGL, and AutoGL actually does not really like running any version of the game past Indev anyway, so we're going to do another version swap now. So we're going to delete Minecraft.jar again, go back into here, copy Infdev over, rename that to Minecraft.jar, and start at the launcher. Now, the reason why I don't have any versions of alpha in my working versions is because almost the entirety of alpha is unable to work with the Blade 3D due to one of the many aforementioned small tweaks in the rendering engine that completely breaks things. So, with Infdev, with Infdev, let's just create a new world, because I do not remember which version I made those 3 testing worlds in at this point. But if I remember correctly, Infdev, alongside the switch over to Infinite Terrain, also tweaks the rendering engine in a way that finally gets things to render properly on the Blade 3D. Now, this is most definitely not done on purpose by Notch or anyone at Mojang, just small tweaks, I guess, that just by complete chance happened to get things working again. But it did not change the fact that Minecraft is absolutely painful to play on because of the FPS that this thing gets on the native OpenGL renderer. Oh boy, yeah. You would not want to play Minecraft like this. So we'll close out of that again. I'm just Alt F4ing out of it every time. And last but not least, we've got beta 1.7.3. Jar. Open the launcher. Go into single player, and we'll just play the world that we just barely generated. It's still amazing that these cards from like the late 90s or very early 2000s are able to play Minecraft at all, considering how the game is, generally a very modern game as far as its hardware requirements tend to be. So, beta evidently does not make any improvements on the frame rate, and actually maybe it does improve a tiny bit in certain occasions. I did see that the world is a little bit smoother to play on once some terrain is loaded in. Yeah, just those small moments when I'm looking at the ground there, where you sometimes get 2 or 3 frames in a row instead of 1 to 2 per second, if not less. So, still unplayable. Not surprising. Even beta 1.7.3, one of the, versions known to be somewhat optimized, is not working very well. Now, if I remember correctly, I also have this on the flash drive, so give me a moment. Benchmarks and Classicube. So, if we just run Classicube right off the flash drive here, it's not going to make any difference whether it's on the flash drive or on the desktop. If I go into single player and just play, there's another weird thing that happens where once it starts loading, come on, it's going. Okay, so yeah, there's another weird thing that's happening where the red and blue channels, color channels, appear to have been switched in Minecraft or Classicube, because this water is supposed to be blue and those flowers that I was looking at earlier are supposed to be red. The sky seems fine though, so I don't know what's going on with that, but block colors have been completely swapped. Unless it's green. Green is fine. Green is okay. Green is good. Look at that green grass in the background. It is the only color that is still even moderately looking okay, though it does have a bit of a bluish tint if you ask me. And, you know, performance is still absolute garbage, because OpenGL on the Blade 3D just sucks. So, yeah, that was a pretty chaotic run-through of funny block game in its various incarnations on the Trident Blade 3D. I would say that as far as rendering goes, it is actually worse than the S3 Verge, just because at least with the Verge you could see what was going on when you were using either the somewhat native S3D to OpenGL wrapper, or OpenGL to S3D wrapper, or Alt-OGL. While with the Trident card, the only way that you can get the game working at all in a way that's even moderately playable is to force it to render the game using Direct 3D. So, yeah, I don't have anything else installed right now because I ended up wiping this drive multiple times over out of confusion on what was going on. Turns out that the other OpenGL software implementation that I was planning on using besides Mesa 9X to demonstrate software rendering requires SSE2 and an updated kernel EX, both of which I did not have installed the multiple times that I wiped the drive. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna, I guess, start on that write-up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Also, if you happen to, know somebody that happens to know a thing or two about the S3 Chrome 460, then let me know.